Hi guys, combustheory here, and I'm here to show you some simple After Effects and color correction. This is a beginner's tutorial, and I'll be making more if it gets a good reception. Anyway, when you first open up After Effects, you're going to get this window, and you want to just hit New Composition. It's going to bring you to this Composition Settings window, and what I usually work with is HD TV 720 at 29.97 frames per second. You want to leave square pixels, and this is the duration of your video, but that can easily be changed later, so you can just put in an estimate for now. So now we have this, and you want to import your footage. So if you go on File, Import File, and click on our WoW footage and open. It's going to be put in this project tab, and anything you import is going to be here, but we actually want to drag it down to this comp1 time bar, and there we see it. Now you notice that our footage is actually bigger than our composition, and to fix that we gotta right click on the footage, transform, and fit to comp. If we were to leave it bigger, then it would not all get rendered. All of it is gonna be rendered is what's in the window we set at the beginning. This is basically 720p. Now if we drag this little bar down here, we can zoom in. So this is probably enough. And if you take this time indicator and hold shift and drag it, it's going to snap to the end, and then you press N on your keyboard. What happens is this top bar here gets snapped to the end of the indicator, and this is basically everything that's underneath this bar is what's going to be rendered. So we want to render our whole footage. Okay. Next thing we want to do is make an adjustment layer. So you right click down here, go on New, and New Adjustment Layer. Adjustment layer is basically an empty layer that whatever you put on there is going to affect whatever's below it. So what we want to do is put in some color effects. So if we go on Effect with our adjustment layer selected, we go on Effect, Color Correction, Curves. Curves are just what they look like, the same as in Photoshop if you're familiar with it. If you click, you make a point, and you can move that point. Now if you move it down, it's going to make things darker. If you move it up, you make things brighter. You can also add various points to do some weird effects. We want to make things a little bit bluer. So if you click on the channel and go from RGB to red, we want to lower the red one just a little bit here, and go on the green, lower that a little bit also, and go on the blue, make it maybe just a tad bluer. Alright. You can obviously change this to what you want, but for the tutorial, this is what we're going to stick with. Next thing we want to do is add glow. So select your adjustment layer and go on Effect and Stylize Glow. Glow is a pretty powerful tool. You can do a lot with glow if you know what you're doing. There's a bunch of different controls. If we look at this threshold here, if you were to raise the threshold, it's actually gonna make your glow less, and if you lower it, the glow is taking over everything. What I want to do is find a decent balance between the glow threshold and the glow intensity down here. Now if we raise intensity just a little bit, It's going to make our glow brighter. Looks pretty good. But it's just a little bit too bright for my liking, so you can diffuse this glow with this glow radius controller. Now if we were to drag this, you see what happens. The glow gets diffused. Now depending on what you're looking for, you may not want it to be this bright. Let's just leave it like this for now and see how it turns out later. Now there's a lot of different stuff down here, and this is some of the more advanced stuff. All I'm basically going to show you here is the glow operation, and that allows you to change the mode of the glow. So if you click on it, the default is set to add, and you can change it to, I mean, whatever you feel you need. We're actually gonna go to Silhouette Luma. Looks cool. A little too bright down here. And to change that, we can do it in a bunch of different ways. We can diffuse the glow more. We can increase the threshold, and we can lower the glow intensity. Whatever the balance is that you feel you want for yours, that's what you put it at. It looks good. It's just a little too dark. And the way you can change that, and actually if you were to render it like this, you might lose a lot of information or quality, and so it's just going to seem very dark and blurry with some lights, and we actually want to make that not happen. So if you click on your adjustment layer, go on effect, color correction, levels. Levels also are in Photoshop, and they do it here exactly what they do in Photoshop. If you drag this far left controller, it makes things very dark. If you drag the far right one, it makes all the bright spots a little brighter, all the white whiter, and the middle one is the midtones. So we want to drag the middle one up just a little bit here, maybe this one, to our liking, of course, to make them not as bright. Now you notice there's a light bubble here, and it's pretty pixelated, and you can change that in various ways. One way is to add blur. Another way is to change the glow settings. You know, you can completely kill this thing, make it brighter even. Up to you. This is just a simple tutorial, so we're gonna leave it. Let's see. This glow is just a little too intense, I think. There we go. Yeah, it looks pretty good to me. So there you have it, simple After Effects tutorial. One last thing I'll show you here is how to render, and you would do that by going on Composition, Make Movie. And now you have this render queue, and by default the render queue is actually down here, but you can take any of these tabs and move them wherever you want. I just like mine up here because I usually render a lot of things. So you have your output module here, and if you click on that, you can change what format you want your movie to be. I prefer QuickTime, so I'll leave it at that. Also on the format option, you can choose what kind of quality you want to render in, and the frame rate. I'm going to leave my frame rate at 29.97. because that's what I made my composition in the beginning. And also the compression type. Now animation is for, which is more of a very YouTube, basically as high as on quality video. You have HD JPEG, which is my personal favorite. And also, if you have audio in your video, what you want to make sure is you check this audio output or else you're not going to render any audio, and you hit OK. Next thing that you want to do is click here, and that's actually going to open up where you want to save the file and what you want to name it, and you hit render. Now before you hit render, you want to make sure you have caps lock on, because what's going to happen if you don't have it on is it's going to show you a preview of frame by frame, and that's going to slow your render down a lot. And actually, if you don't have a lot of RAM, it can actually crash your After Effects, so don't render with caps lock. You can see the fucking thing later. Anyway, that's it for this tutorial. Oh wait, one more thing I forgot to say here. If you want to go back and change your time, like how long your video is going to be, or how long you want your time by here to show, you can click on this little drop down menu, composition settings, and it'll take you back here and you can change it here. Alright, that's it. So if you like it, tell me, I'll make more. If you don't like it, be nice. Anyway, combustheory out.